infrastructure.
Somebody talking. Can you please, can caller 3 please mute their mic? Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I've got the name of some people who have logged in on here. And if I don't call your name, please just let me know who you are and what company you represent. I have Andrew Spur and Bob Nicoli representing the town of Norwood. Jason Morrow, what company do you represent?
New England Infrastructure.
Okay. Jessica Donatelli.
New England Building and Bridge.
That's on here. And so can somebody please, if I haven't called your name, can you please just tell me who you are? I have a caller 1, 2, and 3. Nobody else is on this. Okay. All right. So as I said, I'm Kathy Carney. I'm the contract administrator for the town of Norwood. This is the pre-bid for the Dean Street Bridge rehabilitation due on May the 27th at 11 o'clock. Right now, because of COVID-19, the town hall building is closed to the public. So what we're doing is any of the bids that you're going to be sending in should come either via UPS, FedEx, or the U.S. Postal Service, or there is a delivery box that is located under the tower here at Town Hall. That's the corner of 566 Washington Street and Manhattan Street. The deadline is 11 o'clock. We'll have somebody out there waiting for the bids at 11 to make sure that we don't miss anybody. But if you come after 11 o'clock, your bid will be rejected for being late. This is requiring Mass DOT pre-qualification. And the category, I believe, was bridge structures. Is that correct, Andrew?
Yes, there's bridge dash culvert.
Okay. And so you must be with MassDOT in order to submit a bid for this. We're requiring a 5% bid bond and 100% payment and performance bond on this. Because this involves state monies, there's also a goal, MBE, WBE goal of 10.4% from MBE, WBEs. And you'll want to make sure that you include your schedule of participants when you submit a bid. Other than that, this is the basics for submitting your bids for the town of Norwood. Any questions should really come to me at ccarney@norwoodma.gov, and then I will forward them along to our engineers, and then we will issue addenda for anything that we feel is pertinent. You should be registered on our download list at bids.norwoodma.gov. And that's where we pull all of our information for addenda. So whoever submitted and asked for and signed up for the documents, they're the ones who are going to receive the addenda that's issued on this project. If for some reason you are not the person who's supposed to be receiving addenda, please make sure the correct person does log in and give us their email address. Everything is sent out electronically, and so what you'll need to do is make sure we have the right name for this. I'm also asking, because of the situation where we can't physically accept your bids in person, is once you drop your bids off, or if you have them delivered by a service, please call my office to confirm that we did receive your bid, because we would hate to have any problems in receiving them. This pre-bid is being recorded both by NCM, our community cable company, as well as by the town of Norwood, and a video of this pre-bid will be posted on our website. Same thing with the bid opening. The bid opening is also going to be recorded and posted on our website. I think with that, I will leave it now to our engineers. And gentlemen, if you can discuss what this project is, and then after they've discussed it, we'll ask for any questions. I do ask that you identify yourself when you do have a question. I also ask that you send your question in writing after this meeting to make sure that we understand your question correctly. There may be a time when we answer your question, but we want to make sure we have the right question and the right answer. So if it's answered today, we'd still like you to follow up with your written question. Okay, Andrew or Bob, which one of you is going to start?
Andrew will.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Andrew Spur. I work with TEC. We are the engineer of record on the project. Just wanted to give a high-level overview of the project and everything that it entails. Essentially, it's a pretty straightforward project. The name of the game is replacing a failed corrugated metal arch that is conveying Meadow Brook underneath Dean Street. There are existing concrete footings that hold up the existing arch. We are proposing to retain the existing footings while replacing the failed metal arch. The arch itself and any connections to the existing footings are going to be contractor designed. Another thing to note is there is a adjacent box culvert structure to the south of our subject bridge that will need to be tied into, and any connections that need to be made to this adjacent box culvert will have to be contractor designed as well. Another major thing to note on the project is there are several subsurface utilities that pass above the arch that we are proposing to all be supported in place. There is one water line under the northern sidewalk that will be replaced as part of the project for a small section, but all other utilities will be supported in place. And we are proposing, we're proposing everything, all excavation, just for the sake of keeping all the utilities safe and intact during construction. All excavation should be vacuum excavation. And obviously that's just to maintain all the utilities, make sure there's no unnecessary damage to anything that we can't really locate for sure. Generally, all the dimensions of the roadway, the sidewalk, any grass buffers, shoulders, everything will be kind of maintained. We're not really proposing to change the footprint of the bridge all that much, especially with reusing the existing footings. Everything is, the dimensions of all the structures and everything is gonna pretty much match exactly what we have out there today. So that's pretty much it. We are proposing a full detour for the project. Traffic will be detoured via Neponset Street and Route 1, which will require some pretty detailed signage because of the rotary on Route 1 to the north. But again, we have all those plans laid out in our traffic management details on sheets 8 and 9 of our plans. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. We're doing some guardrail replacement, which is all per Mass DOT standard details. We're proposing to add steel handrail along the guardrail along the north sidewalk. And there's just some additional riprap replacement along the northern embankment of the culvert. There's some riprap addition within the channel. Just that'll be additional scour protection for the existing footings. But I think that's pretty much it. And with that, I'm open to take some questions.
Okay.
I have a question. This is Tom Hennessy from Contact Engineered Solutions. We are the fabricator of the replacement structure that's called out. And yes, we can do that size and rise and so forth. My question is, the existing foundation, there's a receiving channel that's been in there since the early 60s, obviously. Is your intention there to potentially reuse that or replace that totally? That receiving channel that sits on top of the foundation?
The intention is for that to be designed by the contractor, and I think the condition of that existing channel would probably warrant it to be replaced. But again, if it's
okay, because how I plan to quote this, I'll have that receiving channel as a separate line item, just to break it out for the contractors. So yes, I can provide that a separate price, and they can choose to use it or go with something else. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, but I'll break it out as a separate line. Yep.
This is Jason
Oh,
with New England Infrastructure. For the utility supports, do you have the approximate weights of all the different utilities and duct banks that we need to support?
We don't have the existing weights readily available right now, but we're proposing to, coordinate pretty actively with the utility companies. We can calculate weights as needed. Well, I should say the contractor should. All the utility supports will be contractor designed. So I guess the short answer would be coordination with utility companies would be necessary. With PEC will be reviewing shop drawings and making sure everything is good to go.
Does that answer your question?
No, something was funny. The microphone kept getting muted and unmuted, and I couldn't hear any of the answer.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that my microphone?
I don't know. I don't know. Something on the go-to meeting, I kept getting notifications that mics were getting muted all over the place.
Jason,
Oh, okay.
you'll resubmit this in writing too, and we can get a more distinct answer for you. But if you want to try to answer it again, Andrew, and see if the mics work this time.
Sure. The short answer is no, we do not have weights, but we do clarify what each utility is, and I think all the utility supports are to be contractor designed. So our specifications, direct the contractor to the necessary design methods for temporary utility supports as well.
Okay. We've recently done some gas line supports for another job, and they were pre-designed, but they included things like micropiles at each support, and based on the weights and stuff, which leads to my second question. The schedule on this seems rather aggressive for all this work. Is it an August 15th completion date? Is that correct?
So that was the other thing I meant to mention during my little rundown too, is yes, the work is scheduled to begin no later than June 13th, and the entire job has to be completed no later than October 30th. There is a 115 kilovolt electric line that comes from the substation just to the southeast of the bridge, and that pretty much feeds the whole town. So it's a very critical line, and we've gotten word from the owners of that line that it has to be backfilled ported by August 15th. So yes, I guess that's a critical date for us. And reason being is they have work that is scheduled on their lines that needs to be, our work has to be completed prior to them beginning their work. And I don't know exactly when their schedule is, but it's shortly after August 15th.
So what is the portion of the work that has to be completed by August 15th if you're saying the total completion date is October 30th?
Based on the contract, it says, give me 1 sec, I can scroll there. That 115 kV line must be completely backfilled by August 15th. So essentially, you could back into basically the arch has to be installed and backfilled by August 15th. And all the temporary utility supports removed, at least from that one line, but you would assume that would be all the other lines as well.
Okay. Does that answer your question now, sir?
It does. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions out there? I do want to point out that we had attached the governor's guidelines for construction during COVID-19, and it's important. It's going to be up to the contractor to make sure that those guidelines are followed. Who knows what's going to come next, next Monday on the 18th when more things are released, more guidelines. But for right now, that's the way that you're going to need to make sure that you have the temperature checks for your employees, social distancing where it's available, where it's possible, and then any other guidelines that the governor may come with. Prevailing wages apply on this project. It's important that the successful bidder complete their certified payrolls on a weekly basis. They can be emailed to me or my assistant. We don't have to have the originals on file. Your OSHA 10s are also going to come to our office, and your bonds too will end up coming to this office. And I think, Andrew, did you mention that there was going to be another addenda, or addenda 1 is due to come out soon?
Addenda 1 should come out soon, yes.
Okay.
We had, I wasn't sure, I thought I had emailed that to you, Kathy. I didn't know if it got posted yet.
Okay, no, it hasn't. Is that the only one for right now?
I believe that that's the only one that needs to, that's the only thing we're anticipating at the moment,
Okay.
unless something else unexpected comes up.
Okay, so I'll get addenda number 1 website, and the way that it works is we not only post it on the website where you originally downloaded the documents, but we also we email it to you. So anyone who has given us their email, the email is going to go to them as addenda number 1. It will be marked as such. But again, if for some reason you didn't get the email, you can go back into the bid document download page and you can get the information there.
This is Jason again from New England Infrastructure. I think you said it at the beginning and I didn't write it down. For me to follow up with written questions, who do I send the written questions to?
You can send them to me and then I'll forward them along. So it's C. Carney, CCARNEY at norwoodm.gov.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? We also post a plan holders list on our webpage. So if you're interested in seeing who else has downloaded the documents, just purchasing.norwoodm.gov and you can see the plan holders list. And it's usually updated maybe every other day. Okay, I guess we'll close this right now for the meeting. And again, any questions, send them via email. And even the questions that were asked today, please send them to me via email and we can make sure that we get an in-depth answer back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.